Today we're going to be going through how to assemble your Gen 4 side-mounted unit, how to align it in your cage, and your connections that you'll need to get this thing powered on. So first thing that we're going to do is we are going to assemble your shield. Now your shield should come pre-assembled, but should you ever need to remove it, or if for whatever reason you're receiving a system and having to mount this yourself, we're going to go ahead and review this for you today. But if you already have your system shield mounted on your unit, you can go ahead and fast forward this video and hop to a starting point where we are assembling our base plate and pedestal. So to start with mounting your shield, so we've got our equipment here. Now I would highly recommend that you utilize a drill. Phillips head screw is necessary here. Of course, you can do this by hand, but again, highly recommend the drill. So what we're going to do is you're going to notice that there are 4 screw holes on one side of your hardware, and there are 4 screw holes on one side of this shield. So those line up, and we're going to go ahead and start by getting that secured. So I'm going to align these holes. We got 4 drill connections here, 4 screw connections. Okay, excellent. So now that we have that first side secured, next thing that we're going to do, obviously your logo is going to be facing upwards. We are going to secure 1/2 of your bars. Now your circular bars are going to go in front, top, and back of the unit. So top front and top back. And we're going to start with those connections here. Okay, next you have your rectangular bars. There's 2 sides to these rectangular bars. One is more flush and glossy. One has a more of a ruggedized edge, or textured edge, it should probably say. So it's the glossy side that's going to be facing forward, and we're going to go ahead and get that in there. All right, so again, your circular bar is on the top side of your unit, in front and in back. Then you've got 4 bars on the way down, rectangular bars, and then you're going to line up this final bar here on the back side. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and flip this whole thing over, and we are going to secure all of these connections from this side. So we'll just go ahead, lock this in. Should only take us a second from here. Okay, so now we've got our HitTrax sensor and shield assembled. This might be a starting point for a few of you that have gone ahead and fast forwarded to this point of the video. So next thing that we are going to do here is we're going to move over and we are going to assemble our base plate and pedestal, and then we'll be securing this unit to that base plate and pedestal. Okay, so now we are at the point where we are assembling our base plate and our pedestal. Now, these just go together with 4 screws. They line up, pre-threaded. Okay, we're almost there. We've got our base plate and pedestal assembled. We've got our shield and HitTrax connected. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this shield just directly on top of the base plate and pedestal here. You'll notice the shield should be lined up with the outside of the base plate and pedestal. And then you're going to notice there are 6 holes that will secure the connection, 3 on either side of this base plate and pedestal. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so to review, you've got 4 screws that are connecting your base plate to your pedestal. Your shield is assembled and attached via 6 screws to the outside of your pedestal. Now, the last thing that is quite important is you're going to want to make sure that the cameras have a slight face upward towards the cage. So that'll be the direction that you point your HitTrax in your cage. So you're going to want to make sure that the cameras have a slight angle upwards in terms of field of view. So now let's talk about aligning your HitTrax and securing your connections. So again, this is our side mounted unit. I mean, it's meaning it can go either to the right or to the left-hand side of the cage. One thing that you'll want to be particularly mindful of is if you do have big windows, floor to ceiling windows around your facility, ambient light does not bother us or tracking at all. When the system is pointed directly into an open garage bay, large windows, if that's something that can be avoided by facing the system away from that particular direction, the better. So that might make your decision on putting the system either to the right or to the left-hand side of the cage, but regardless, from a tracking perspective, doesn't matter to us. That being said, orientation of your system. 21 inches forward from the front edge of home plate, 90 inches off to the side of the cage, 7.5 feet. So you're going to start by going 21 forward, right on the edge of this mat for us, and then we're going to go 90 off to the side of the cage. Okay. All right, so that's where you're going to get your HitTrax, orient it physically in the cage. So we're going to go ahead and move this back here. And I'm going to line up this base plate, this corner of the unit, corner of the base plate, with that 2190, okay? Now there's a little bit of give here, so if it's not exactly in that spot, we can account for that in the calibration process, but that's generally the area that you're going to want to set up your unit. 21 inches in front of home plate, 90 inches off to the side of the cage. In terms of setting an angle, again, we will do that during the calibration process. But let's go ahead and talk about connections really quick.